Hello everyone, welcome to Cam's Handmade Creations and another tutorial. Today we're going to learn how to make a corner to corner granny square and how to decrease. So as always, I don't like to dawdle, so let's get started. How's everyone doing on today, and welcome to another tutorial. Today we're going to work on a corner to corner granny stitch. So I'm going to use a 5.5 millimeter hook and my category for yarns in yellow and pink. I know you guys keep seeing these yarns, but this is what I have for now. So we're going to start off with a slip knot. This is a really easy stitch, I promise. So go ahead and make your slip knot, and you're going to chain 5, 3, 4, it's 5. I just started counting late. Go ahead and slip stitch and make a chain of 3. So now into that circle, you're going to make 3 double crochets. This chain that you made counts as a double crochet. So go in with another 3 double crochets. For my beginners, you yarn over, go into the stitch and pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Let's do that 2 more times. Make sure you're weaving in your tail, yarn over, go into your stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. I'm going to make a total of 4 stitches, and I'll let you know why in a moment. Beginners, remember when you are making your stitches and you're yarning over and pull up a loop, make sure you're twisting your yarn as you go. Yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So now we have 4 double crochets. That includes this chain stitch that counts as a double crochet. So now we're going to add 1 more double crochet in here for a total of 5. The reason we do that is because this double crochet is 1, this is 3 double crochets, which is your granny square, 3, which is a cluster of 3, and this last double crochet on the end makes it 5. So these are your 2 ends, and your 3 double crochet in the middle is your granny square cluster. I'm going to show you how that works. It'll make sense in a moment. So now we're going to yarn over, chain 3 and yarn over, and we're going to slip stitch in between that last double crochet and your 3 double crochets over on the left, which is your granny cluster. So make 3 double crochets in this space here. That's 1. This is 2 and 3. So now, without any chaining, we're going to immediately skip these 3 stitches here. This is our granny cluster, and we're going to go right in between that granny cluster and that chain stitch that you made from the previous row when you chained 3. So in between that, we're going to go with 3 double crochets or treble crochets in the UK. Here's 3. We're going to add an additional stitch here because again we have to have another double crochet on the end. These are your sides. So now we have 3 here and another 3 double crochet clusters here. And those 2 on the sides are considered like your edges. So chain 3 and go ahead and turn your work and continue on. So now we're going to yarn over again and do another 3 double crochets right in between those 2 stitches, which is in between that last double crochet from the previous row and the first double crochet of the cluster. So this is 2 and this is 3 right in between those stitches. There is no chaining, so you just continue on. It's going to balance itself out as you go. Continue making your double crochets. So in this next space, we make 3 double crochets. So after you make those first 3 double crochets, just skip 3 double crochets, which is the cluster, and then go in between and make those 3 double crochets. Now we're continuing on. We're going to skip these 3 double crochets here and double crochet in between that chain stitch from the previous row and that last double crochet in the granny square cluster. So right here, make 3 double crochets. This is 2 and 1 more. Now we're going to make 1 more double crochet into that stitch there for this to be our side chain. Chain 3 and then turn your work. And just keep repeating this process over and over again until you get it as long as you want it to be. This stitch is great for a blanket stitch. So now as you see, I'm going back in again at the end. I've chained 3. I'm going back in again between those 2 stitches and just make 3 double crochets, which is a granny square cluster. It is always 3 double crochets. So continue on without chaining, go right back into that next stitch with 3 double crochets, the next space. I shouldn't say stitch, it's more like a space. And continue on. So if you want, you can stop the video here and keep going with these granny square clusters back and forth. Remember, you want to have 4 double crochets in the beginning. That includes that 3 chain stitch, which counts as a double crochet, and 4 at the end, where you will put 4 double crochets or treble crochets into that space there. Make sure that you put 4 double crochets. Sorry about this lighting. I don't know what's going on, but I do apologize. So this is my final double crochet, and now we will continue on and chain 3, turn your work, and keep going. So you add another cluster, another granny square cluster here, which is 3. In the middle is going to be another 3. You're only making 3 in this beginning, in the beginning cluster, because your chain counts as a double crochet. So you're just going to go in with 3 more and continue on. All the spaces in between is your granny square cluster, which is 3 double crochets, and on each end you will have 4 double crochets. It will always be that way as you go back and forth. So I'm going to keep making these double crochets in here. Now moving on to my next cluster here. Put 3 double crochets in here. And then right into that space after that next 3 double crochet cluster, that granny cluster. Make 3 double crochets in here, or trebles as they call them in the UK. So I'm going to keep making my stitches going back and forth. Remember, you must have 4 double crochets in the beginning and 4 at the end. So I've decided I'm gonna go ahead and change colors. If you are a subscriber or if you've seen my reel, I show you how to change colors without making knots. So you just pull your yarn up, put your hook into those very 2 front stitches in the front. Make sure your loop is to the back. Go ahead and grab your other color, loop that on. Pull your second color through those 2 loops that you put your hook into. That's your new loop. Go ahead and remove the yellow or whatever color you're using. Chain 3 and continue on. Now you can stop here if you want to and go ahead and clip that off, but I'm just going to continue on. I'm going to go ahead and weave a little bit of this in here. Remember from before, chain 3 and go right in between those stitches there, right between that double crochet from the previous, the chain from the previous row, and the double crochet, the granny square cluster. So you make 3 double crochets. Now you have 4, including that chain stitch. Go ahead and make 3 double crochets in your next space. And just keep doing this. You can stick with one color if you want to. You can have 2 or 3 colors if you want to. It's completely up to you. So we're going to continue. I'm going to keep making these stitches here. I'm going to speed up for a moment so that we can get through it a little bit faster, and I'll be back. Okay, so now we're at the last stitch here, and I'm going to put my 3 double crochets in here. There's 1, this is 2, and 3. Now, of course, right into that last stitch on the end between that chain and that cluster, make another 3 double crochets. And then your last one, 4. I should say 4 double crochets. That makes it a lot simpler. So in that last one, make 4 and then chain 3. And this is what it looks like so far. So see your edges over here, everything is going in an upward motion. So let's continue on. I'm going to keep making my double crochet rows. I'm not going to make it too big because I want to get to the point where I show you how to decrease your stitches so that you get that corner to corner look, that diamond shape look that we're looking for. So I'm going to keep making my double crochets, and when I come back, I'll be right before the end so we can continue. Okay, I am at the end, and this is my last double crochet. I don't want to make it too big so that I can show you how to go ahead and decrease. So now we're going to continue on. We're not going to continue the normal way that we do. We're going to begin decreasing now. Okay, so now that we're at the end of the row, you want to chain 3, turn your work. Now, instead of going into that space between where we made that chain and your granny square cluster, you're going to skip that and immediately go right into the next space with 3 double crochets. We're decreasing now, so we're going to be skipping this first stitch here, the first corner here, the first space. So we keep doing that all the way across. You keep making your 3 clusters all the way across, and I'll meet you before the end. So now we're at the end, and I'm going to make my last cluster of granny square here, the last granny square cluster rather, which is of course 3 double crochets. So instead of going into this next space with 3 double crochets, we're just going to put 1 double crochet into that space, or treble crochet for UK. Put 1 double crochet into that space. Eventually you will begin to see it come together and decrease. So chain 3 like normal, turn your work, and again you're going to skip that space again and go right into the next space between those 2 clusters there and make 3 double crochets. So from here you'll continue to make 3 double crochets, make your granny square clusters all the way across, and I'll meet you at the end, close to the end. Okay, so now we're close to the end of the row, and I'm about to put my last granny square cluster here. And again, we're just decreasing. So once I put these 3 double crochets in here, you go right into the next stitch, into the next space, and make 1 double crochet. So as you can see, it's beginning to fold inward, and you just keep doing this back and forth until you get to where you need to be. So I have my double crochet in here, and it should be slanting upwards as you go along. It doesn't look like much now because I don't have enough rows just yet, but we're going to keep going. We are now decreasing our rows. So go ahead and chain 1. I'll do another row for you on camera, and then I will meet you back when I get a little closer to the end, or at least when I switch colors. So I'm going to speed up here. Remember to skip that space there and make your next granny square cluster, and I'll meet you at the end. Okay, so I've made my last double crochet. So now I've decided I'm going to go ahead and switch back to the yellow. I am at the point where I will have 5 clusters there. So I'm going to go ahead and change out my color. So like before, just pull your loop up as high as you need to. Go ahead and slip your hook into those front loops there. Always make sure that your loops, everything is nice and loose so you don't have to force it. Add the yellow back in there. Yarn over and pull through those 2 loops with your other color. And then remove the pink yarn or whatever color you're switching out of and chain 3. 1, 2, 3. So now go ahead and turn and just continue that same process. Skip that first section there, that first space, and go right into the next space with your 3 double crochets. And I'll meet you at the end of the row. So I'm on my way to making my last cluster here. Granny square cluster. Get into the habit of saying that it is a granny square cluster. And this is the last one. And right into that last stitch with a double crochet. In the last space, I should say. Now chain 3 and just repeat that process all over again. Flip your work around and don't worry about those ends. I'll get those ends in later. I am going to remove this pink yarn here though, so I can continue with my yellow, and I'll just continue doing that same thing. I'm going to skip that stitch there, go ahead and double crochet in, and when you get to the last space from where the 3 chain is from the previous row, make a double crochet in that space. Okay, so I am almost finished here. I'm just showing you what this look like, how it decreases and it makes its angle and makes its way back up to the top. So let's continue making our stitches. This is what it should look like. It should have a diamond shape to it. So we're going to continue on and finish up with these rows. So now I have 2 double crochets here, 2 granny square clusters. I'm putting in my double crochet here, chain 3, and turn your work. So again, skip that first section there, that first gap, go into this middle gap here with your granny square cluster. And this is how you make this stitch. It's a really great stitch. It's very pretty stitch. You can make it as big as you want to. So this is my last cluster here, my last double crochet for that cluster. And now we're going to go ahead and finish it off. So we're going to go into the stitch with our final double crochet. And that's it. That is how you make your granny square corner to corner cluster, or rather your corner to corner granny square. So this is how it looks sideways. Of course it does, it's supposed to be like a diamond shape. But I want to thank you for watching this video. I hope that I did not go too fast for you. Don't forget to like and subscribe and leave me a comment. As long as it's not rude, I will respond. Follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at CamTai Handmade Crochet. Stay tuned for another tutorial. Have a great day. Bye-bye.